a 10th straight day of action in the Hungry Jacks NBL, and this afternoon we feature the two top teams. League leaders Melbourne United are back in Adelaide chasing a 9th straight win, and following that, Perth Wildcats are in Sydney to confront the Kings, looking to keep their hold on second spot. Hello everybody, I'm John Casey. Thanks for sharing your Sunday afternoon with us here on Channel 10. First up, it's a battle of the bigs. Cam Bairstow has been Adelaide's best player this season. On Friday night, he had a league-high 18 rebounds against Tasmania. But Melbourne United's Joe Luala-Chul is a force of nature of his own. It sets up a mouth-watering prospect. And to tell us more, let's send it over now to your commentators, Andrew Gaze, Liam Santamaria and Jack Everett.
Thank you very much, Case, and good afternoon to everyone watching Hungry Jacks NBL Round 9 action. And we start with the Adelaide 36ers back on their home floor today, Liam Santamaria. There'd be a few horror reviews from Friday night's loss to Tasmania.
Disappointing loss, for sure. They should have won that game. Adelaide, no Mitch McCarron, that was a big out, but they led that one by double figures, and they kicked themselves in the shins. 24 turnovers, that's way too many, and the decision-making down the stretch, Jack, just wasn't there. These shots late, could have got better looks, and then took too long to foul. Shot clock's turned off. You're down by 3. Got to stop the clock. So they would have had a good long think about how this finished up. Got to clean things up on the boards as well. Gave up 20 offensive rebounds, 20 extra field goal attempts to Tasmania.
Here's their DoorDash starting 5. Hungry Fire Up DoorDash and order your game day essentials now.
Well, the big in is Mitch McCarron, and when you had your team's just had 24 turnovers, you need some leadership at the point guard position, and he should be able to provide that. Cam Bairstow has been outstanding for the Adelaide 36ers the entire season. He's been a wonderful pickup. And the one for me is Daniel Johnson. He's not seeing a lot of the ball of late. Only had those 7 shots in against the Jack Jumpers, and I think that in order for them to start to put some points on the board where they can get in the winning positions, he's got to be a big part of that.
Melbourne United have been on the road for pretty much the entire month of January. They're on an 8-game winning streak. 6 of those have been won on the road, Liam. As we take a look at their DoorDash starting 5, they're an imposing team.
They're absolutely rolling. That man, Matthew Dellavedova, shooting the ball very well. Highly efficient defensively and really deep. Last time they played Adelaide a week or so ago, 40 points off the bench. One guy to keep an eye on tonight, Caleb Agata. A little bit quiet, Drew, in his last couple of games, single-digit scoring production, and just 1 of 12 from long range.
It is, and he's got a specific role here. We see him when the ball's in his hands, a lot of the time he's looking to score. He's not shooting it great, only 38% from the field and 29% from the three-point line. He is a lot better shooter than those numbers would indicate. But I think that this is just one of those teams that, because you are so deep and you've got to find minutes for everyone, you've got to be prepared to sacrifice. We saw it last season with Scotty Hobson coming off the bench for a significant portion of it. I think there's more to do with that and him trying to figure out how he fits in that process.
Yeah, and he produces in a number of different ways as well, not just scoring, doesn't he? He's a hard on-ball defender and helps out on the glass.
We're just about ready for the opening tip-off here at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. A shout-out to our Kmart ball kit for today's game as well. One of the great features here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. There's a Lenny. Keep your eyes on a Lenny for years to come as well.
She got the lippy on?
She wearing a pair of gazes?
Ooh, didn't see that. But no, she's a little beauty. Promising to be a beauty as well. Big test for the Adelaide 36ers on their home court. And coming off that disappointing loss, no better way to bounce back than against the league leaders.
3 wins and 6 losses. The Adelaide 36ers up against the red-hot Melbourne United. 7 wins. 8 wins, I should say, 2 losses.
You'll have a bit of support from the fans. And I don't know if you saw that on your screen. The fan in the front row threw the ball back to Mitch Krieg a little harder than he was expected and copped him right in the face.
Dellavedova has been in outstanding form. 13 of 22 in his last 4 games from outside. That's not the cleanest offensive start. Sunday dead. And McCarron, as Casey said, back in the team today. First play run for Daniel Johnson. He's off target, but he gets an early look. Agata trying to get deep. McCarron did well not to foul. Officials today, Mitch Hare, Nico Fernandez, Ruben Walcott. What a fun matchups on the floor. Bairstow and White He's going to be a real feature of this afternoon's game, and that's out of bounds.
And it's the turnovers that will cost you against Melbourne United. See, the first couple of possessions by the Adelaide 36ers seem pretty determined to get it through some hands, go side to side, which I like. Just get everyone a touch and get everyone involved, but turnovers will hurt.
First play, bubbles.
Dellavedova got past McCarron and lays it up for the opening bucket.
And I don't think there's a team in the competition that tests you more in the first 6 seconds of their offensive sets than Melbourne United. They push the ball and really attack the rim early.
Shot clock at single figures. Adelaide a long way from the cup. McCarron against his former team, forced into a tough look. There's Cam Bairstow, who's been an absolute revelation, coming off 18 rebounds on Friday night.
And that's what he does. Yeah, 18. But leads the league in offensive rebounding. Just his body work, his ability to get position. And he's got a nose for the ball.
Nice take by Golding, getting himself on the free throw line early. Drew, go back to Matthew Dellavedova. His shooting stats now are up to 36% from outside, 15 of 41 from the season. At one point, that was in the teens.
Yes.
How much is the scout going to have to change for Delly compared to what it looked like a month ago?
I think you're still going to be going underneath those on balls. I think you're going to make him prove it to you from the three-point line at this point in time. Now, he has got hold of a couple of teams. Illawarra Hawks, hello, how are you feeling? But I think
Not so good.
No, but I think when you look at the numbers overall, you're going to do that. He's got to do a little bit more, but it's not like when he's on the weak side that you can just ignore him. You can't just invite him to shoot, but you're going to test him with trying to get their stunt at it. But his penetration and dish is as good as anyone in the competition, so that's probably going to be the priority.
Go back a month ago, Liam, there were a few teams who were happy to sit off Dellavedova. Bairstow over the top of Luala Chul. Just started well. Has all four of Adelaide's points.
He is. As teams start to defend Delhi a little closer on the perimeter, every one of his teammates wins. Joe Luala-Chules gets a little extra space. Chris Golding, Jack White. And they can tick the scoreboard over. And Joe Luala-Chul having a sensational season.
Well, you know what? I reckon last year he lets that fly from the three-point line. He sees that opening and he's just letting it fly. Now he's putting the ball on the floor, patient with it. And yeah, he might commit a few turnovers when he's doing that, but the percentages are well in his favour, the way in which he can get to the rim.
Nice offense, little feed from Johnson, enables Dedge.
One-time cut from Sunday Dedge. Sometimes you can get a little lost and just standing around watching your big fella going to work in the block. Whereas Sunday there takes the opportunity, make that cut to the rim. It takes the pressure off DJ. He can find his open teammate. Dedge gets to the free throw line. Next time, Daniel Johnson can get one up.
His fifth game back today from injury, Sunday Dedge. 10, 13, 20 and 5 points in the 4 games that he's played. So his impact's been profound since he's returned.
Well, the biggest thing that I've noticed this season is his willingness to let it fly from the perimeter. He's shooting the ball with great confidence from the perimeter, and he's become a genuine threat, which this team needs. They need to find a way to improve their work beyond the three-point line, and he's one that's shown that he put the work in, and he's showing some improvement in that area.
11 of 22 for the season so far. Sunday Dedge.
Get off it.
Melbourne by 1. You can hear Adelaide coach CJ Bruton mic'd up for us today.
Move it.
A really important game for the 36ers who need to break this losing streak. Withers trying to get himself involved early. That's important.
For sure. They need to get a variety of different contributors, and Withers coming off a really quiet night. Just 3 points on 4 shots down in Tassie.
Here's the big problem for Adelaide today is trying to stop Joe Luala-Chul.
Well, plus minuses can be sometimes misleading, but over a reasonable sample size, they do mean something. In the last 3 losses, Withers is has the worst plus minus of any Adelaide player. He's minus 45.
Oh dear.
In the plus minuses. The team's only minus 35, and he is minus 45. So he's not necessarily. Now, this doesn't sound like a contradiction. When you see him out on the floor, it's not like he's poor. just that we're not getting enough out of him. This is what he's capable of doing. He comes off the little handoff, puts the ball to the floor. Now, that's a contested three, and with good athleticism and nice form. So he has the capacity, and just the numbers, though, when he's been on the floor, the plus minuses, maybe there's a few anomalies in there. Minus 45. That'll get your attention.
For all the wrong reasons.
Up. Go up, go up, go up.
Ditch uses Soto, who's onto the floor, got the Wala Chul up in the air, and then hung around long enough to score over the top.
Nicely done by the young fella. Uses the threat of the three ball to get Joe Lawal-Chul wrong-footed, and then just took his time there on the finish. Knocked it in off the glass.
12 points against the Jack Jumpers on Friday, Kai Soto.
Now, let's be fair. That is really nice by Soto. Not blistering quick. But we speak about the great things the Lawal-Chul do. That wasn't one of it. I mean, that's one where he bid on a three-pointer way more than he should, and that's a pretty straight-line drive that Dean Vickerman wouldn't be happy with.
Be happier with that, though. Newley gets to the basket.
Again, another example, cutting off the post. Heads-up play from Newley. Good find from Delhi. They used the threat of Dellavedova as a post target from time to time. It's been effective.
Jack White rebounds and then puts the ball on the floor, wants to take it coast to coast. Can't finish off. Johnson up ahead for Hannes. Swings for McCarron. Well short. This Sunday, Dench on the O-boards, puts it back in.
Right place, right time. You've got to be there to take advantage of it. Sunday, Dench getting down and reading that situation well. And nice, easy to put back. Getting on the O-boards is important. They've picked up a couple already. And although they got obliterated on the boards against the O-boards against the Jack Jumpers, gave up 20 offensive rebounds. Now that's way, way too many. Adelaide have been good on the glass. In fact, they haven't lost the rebound count in any game they played this season.
What about the numbers our man's throwing at us in this opening quarter? Dellavedova, no good.
Yeah, the issue the other night was just the timing. Crunch time, not able to finish those plays. Soto will head to the free throw line. McCarron putting it up to the big fella. In crunch time, forcing misses and just not able to finish those plays on the defensive glass. That's what would have frustrated CJ Bruton, but a good, solid start in this one.
So a timeout called by Dean Vickerman. 4:42 to play in the opening quarter at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. We're going to jump into the Melbourne United timeout with Coach Dean Vickerman.
Hey, it's easy just to shoot threes, all right? And it's shitty if we shoot threes without the ball hitting the paint first right now, all right? Simple one's a game. I thought we had a good wide pin. Right now, I want you to follow that one, Joe, and go to the rim, all right? In transition, we're slow. We get a rebound right now. There's no quick pitch ahead. It's like, wait. You got to go ahead and make a bust-out dribble and kick ahead. We got to be faster in the way that we start our possessions right now. Getting feet in the paint. So as you come down, whether it be punches, whether it be drags or double drags, but you guys are attacking the paint, and then great things will happen. Hey, this next one though. Let's get it, let's go.
Well, that's a little unusual because you're talking about the three-point line and settling for easy shots. They've only taken the two. They've had 9 field goal attempts and they've only taken the 2. And just watching it, I thought the attack on the rim was noticeable. They are in early transition really trying to get there. So just goes to show the points of emphasis where, from where I'm seeing, they're doing exactly what Dean Vickerman is talking about, but he wants to further enhance and make sure and reinforce the desire of getting into the paint.
Kai Soto makes the first.
Keep it in front.
Wait.
And goes 2 from 2. Adelaide lead by 4. They've scored the last 4 points in the game. Still to come this afternoon, Sydney and Perth up next at Kudos Bank Arena. Perth are another team that are playing beautiful basketball at the moment. That's a nice finish, Luala Children.
That's the kind of touch Dean Vickerman was talking about in the timeout. The double drags, the two ball screens there in the semi-transition, and then they just let the play unfold. Find Luala Chill down low.
Soto back out for McCarran. Quickly back into Johnson, who may have travelled, in fact did travel.
Just a shuffle of the feet, I think it was. And seen worse not called, but that looked like a travel.
Hey!
Shahili running the point for Melbourne. Newley did well to control it in the end. Shot clock in the single figures. Dellavedova has Peatling open for three. 0 from 3 to start the game from outside Melbourne. They shoot it at 34% across the season as Soto throws that in the front row.
It was a perfect look. He had the guy pinned. DJ had the guy pinned. And that's just poor execution. But right idea, the exact right look, just missed him by a metre.
Pick and roll. Cool it.
Ariel Hookporty checking into the game as well. Two of the brightest young international talents out there right now in Hookporty and Soto. We spoke, Liam, about some fun matchups. Hookporty and Soto is going to be a lot of fun to watch, for sure.
Both with big aspirations. A couple of big lefty prospects, and who have been coming along quite well over the course of the season. Soto certainly in these last 4 games, but you've got to like Hookporty's development we've seen so far as well.
Both 19 years of age. Hannah's trying to get downhill. Hookporty came over the top and monstered him.
He swallowed that up.
Newley throws it away. Dean Vickerman, you can hear in the background, they're happy.
Well, they had that timeout and they were talking about what they wanted to do and not settle for threes. Here's Hookporty just coming in and taking care of business on the defensive end. But out of that timeout, they came out and had two threes, and the penetrate there with the turnover. So, as a coach, you just sometimes question whether these blokes are actually listening. They did exactly what they were instructed to perhaps do something different.
Mitch McCarran sits down. Harvey King checking in for his first minutes, as is Tad Dufelmeyer. CJ Bruton goes to the bench late in the opening quarter. Golding to make a field goal. After Peatling late in the clock. That's good.
That's helpful. Melbourne United didn't have much happening on that possession. Well defended for the most part. Peatling bails them out.
46% from outside this season, Mason Peatling. 8 of 17. Withers. Aggressive to the basket. Garter wasn't there in time and called for a block.
Half a step, I reckon. Yeah, or even a quarter of a step late on this one. Had the right idea, tries to get over there. You say doesn't quite get there, and gets called for the blocking foul.
Thank you. 2. Yeah.
1 of 4 on Friday. Todd Withers against Tasmania. Season low numbers for him.
1.
Have you seen his season, Liam? First in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
I thought he started well. Yeah, to begin the year, and just gone away a little bit in recent times about what works for him, which is he's got to get after it. He's got to make a presence of himself on the glass, get some deflections, be a real lockdown guy on D, and then his opportunities will come on offense.
Nice take a Garter. Crosses over Hannahs and 1.
Well, I think this has been the issue that CJ's had with Dusty Hannahs since he's arrived, and how in which he can contain the ball. Now, it's a problem from everyone. But see right there, if you could have froze that, Agata had choices. He could have gone left or right. And these days, with the way the game is so heavily favoured in favour of the offence, you've got to send him where you know your help's going to be coming from. And right there, he had choice. He could have gone middle, he could have gone baseline. He chose to go to the sideline, and easy, no help, and easy too.
And that is sloppy from Adelaide, but a byproduct of Melbourne's defensive pressure. And CJ Bruton, with a little under 2 minutes to play in the first quarter, wants to have a chat about
Not
things.
surprising, because they just can't have those kinds of turnovers. Coming off that loss in Tassie, Mitch McCarron out of the game. Other guys now responsible for handling it, and they've just got to advance the ball.
If you're down here, flash. But these two guys right here, it's start here, not here, where they can trap you and you got nowhere to go. Todd, you run the baseline on that, so run the baseline, get open. You stay in front of the ball, right? This guy here blowing by you just in open court. Again, everyone's got to do their job. Stay in front of the ball, we get over it. This play here, you've already got wide. Playing out of wide. Let's go wide. You setting it? You set the down screen. Touch action, get out, play into that drag screen, space hold, try and get 2 feet in the paint, roll quickly, Kai, you're on the rim, and if you don't get it, it's a throwback to drive it again. Here we go, lock up on D.
First season in charge, CJ Bruton, his playing resume is as good as just about any in terms of championships that we've seen here in the Hungry Jacks NBL, but this is a whole new challenge that he's being thrown.
Yeah, for sure. And especially, you're on a 3-game losing streak, and we spoke about how they will rue the missed opportunity the other night, but he's keeping a cool head. Spoke after the game in the press conference, said, look, I'm feeling okay. We've got another game to get ready for, and we're going to take a swing at the league leaders, and have made a pretty solid start of it this afternoon.
2 wins and 2 losses so far this season on their home floor, the 36ers.
Sliding of the pivot foot, obvious one there on Chris Golding. And I like the call, because we don't always see that called. And it is hard. The game is hard enough on the defensive end than allowing the offensive players just a little bit of a head start.
Melbourne lead it by 3. 2 for Meyer. Absolutely no space to work with at all. Guarded by Illy, one of the competition's best defenders. Melbourne calls another turnover. Agata steps through, couldn't finish off. Adelaide push ahead. Hannes was aggressive on Friday, blocked by Golding. 4-on-2 up ahead. Golding threw it to Hook Porter, who wasn't looking. And he threw it to Agata, who didn't want it.
It is. They can deal with turnovers a little bit more than the Adelaide 36ers, because this is elite level defence you're seeing here by Melbourne United.
Hannes baseline this time. Nice floater.
Read from Hannes. Just reading the way the defense fought their way over that screen and found the gap along the baseline.
22 points on 9 of 21 on Friday. Dusty Hannes, that's clinical from Melbourne.
Well, Dusty just went to sleep. He was on the weak side there, and as we saw earlier on when there was cutting by the Adelaide player, just the movement off the ball, you lose vision. Easy too.
5-second differential between game and shot clock. Soto picked up an awkward ball and flashed to the basket. Draws a foul.
It's been tough for Adelaide these last couple of minutes of the quarter. McCarron out, Daniel Johnson out, Cam Bairstow, Sunday Detch, and the second unit finding things tough. Melbourne, as you say, Drew, tuning things up defensively and just gaining control of the game a bit.
Yeah, it is, and I think that normally when you're going through these spells, you want to see this ball move side to side and swing the ball around and then get into some downhill action, which is common practice. But Melbourne are up and in the lanes. They're making it hard even to make the simple sideline pass or pass back to the middle. And they're having all sorts of difficulty with the passing action. And that's why a lot of times you see your team go into some weave action. So if you can't pass it, well then weave it in order just to get some movement before you put the attack on and getting those scoring opportunities.
Last play of the opening quarter. Illy It's going to have to be the man himself. That's going to be short. It's a 2-point lead for United at quarter time at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. 19-17 on Sunday Hoops in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Hungry Jacks NBL, and we started with Adelaide hosting Melbourne. It's United looking to make it 9 in a row who lead at quarter time, 19-17. Their leading scorer, Joe Luala-Chul, with 6 points. Kai Soto has 5 for the Adelaide 36ers, and the winner of our Kmart gift card for today is Samantha Morici. First game for the two boys, and they absolutely loved it. And why wouldn't you? Where else would you want to be on a Sunday afternoon?
For sure. Solid start from Adelaide in that first quarter. Yeah, they trailed by 2, but there's a lot to like from that first term. And if they knocked down their free throws, 4 of 8 from the stripe, and just maybe looked after a little bit better, 5 turnovers in that opening quarter, they'd have their noses in front. So plenty to build from for CJ Bruton and that squad.
Edge from outside. That's long. Norman pushes up ahead for Melbourne. Past McCarron. They've been a little careless with the basketball in the opening quarter, Melbourne. Uncharacteristic for them. They've had 5 turnovers so far. They average 13 a game, Melbourne.
Yeah, and that's good. 13 a game is about par. You don't want to see too many more than that, but that's tolerable. And Bears only played those 4 minutes in that first quarter. He picked up the 1 foul, so hopefully he doesn't have any issues because they need more of that.
Indeed. He's tough off those elbows. His ability to face up, put it on the floor, and he's got good patience when he goes to work down there.
Now he's got some work to do defensively. Banging in against the German next star, Hook Porty. That's a travel. We check in with John Casey, courtside.
Thanks, Jack. Yeah, Mojave King was subbed out late in that opening quarter and went straight to the change rooms for some treatment on an ankle. He actually tweaked it during the shoot-around, the warm-up pre-game, and they said they'd send him out there and see if he could go on it. He didn't look 100% to me. I've spoken to the medical staff. They will put him back available to the coach if he's required, but he's certainly not 100%. We may not see him again.
That's a blow for their depth. Are we allowed to say it? Vintage DJ off one leg.
Yeah, that's what he does. He can create something out of nothing, use his size well. Little Dirk Nowitzki type step back.
Barlow long. 5 straight games without scoring, Dave Barlow.
Wait, lift up, lift up, lift up, lift up.
Withers at the other end, knocks it down.
It's 2 from 2 from Todd Withers from long range in this first half.
He's good. He good.
Some good energy for the 36ers who have scored the last 8 points.
Let's go. Mate, mate.
Bairstow top of the key. Got hook Porty up in the air.
Beautiful. Beautiful take from Cam Bairstow. Again, the Melbourne bigs biting on those shot fakes from long range, and Bairstow taking advantage at the rim. Just a little eyebrow raise, little ball fake, and then easy finish at the cup. Timeout, Melbourne.
You can hear the frustration in the voice of Melbourne coach Dean Vickerman. Adelaide are dictating terms at the moment.
Get in there. Be my boy. Stay with us. All right. Whitey, when you're attacking, like, that's the soft take, right? Go ahead and get fouled and get to the rim, throwing up a little lob right now. You got to get some free throws, attack the rim on those kind of possessions. All right, quick decision on that pitch out. We're doing nothing disruptive defensively right now. You got to go to a whole nother level to make the ball stop moving. Stop getting lifted. No one gets lifted for the rest of the day. You're there, you're ready, you close out, you stay down, heavy contest on the 3, and you're not getting lifted and given an advantage. Huh? Blitz in the next one?
Run up.
Let's go. We need to turn it up a little bit, so let's go. All right. Give me spin space. Give me spin space to the on ball right now. Here we go.
Somewhat measured by Dean Vickerman, frustrated with what's going on the defensive end, and he's talking about getting lifted. It's what Liam Meyer spoke about when they're biting on those little head fakes, and it's been the bigs. We see Porty get blown by that last time, and before that it was JLA that just coming out and not staying on their feet. Dean Vickerman would rather a contested 3 than having the attack on the rim.
Dellavedova beat the full court press. It's his own rebound. It's a mismatch here, guarded by Soto that he might like the look of. Soto was good enough to stay in front and stay with it. White travels. It's Adelaide who are dialing up the defensive pressure.
Really well defended by the big fella. Tried to force Daly one way. In fact, he got the other way. Here you see, he lines him up, says, you know what, I'm forcing him to the help. Here, I changed his footwork. I'm going to force him to the middle. Got beat baseline. Moved his feet, though. Got his hands on it. And, again, just enough to force the turnover. Foul on Dellavedova called right there. And Drewy, interesting. You spoke about Bairstow's limited minutes in that first quarter. Then he made that move there on hook court. He got right to the rim before the timeout. Straight back out of the game.
Just maybe Case can look into it. Maybe there's some other issues we're not aware of, but given what he's providing, and he's already got the 5 rebounds as well, 5 of their 13, just trying to pace him through it, or not sure.
Johnson backs in on Barlow. Shoot that fade away, that's short. Soto kept it alive. To the advantage of Melbourne, who have got the extra number up ahead. Barlow threw it upstairs for White.
Let's say you take advantage of that extra number. Good find from Barlow. Above the rim.
Breaks a run of 10 straight points for Adelaide, I should say. 36ers play through Johnson. On, jumps out. Offensive rebound, Withers. Great pass to Soto. Does a lap of the rim and falls out.
Well, they've liked what they've seen in DJ on the box, and he got that little step back and he made one. They've gone to him the last 2 times, and they've really been poor shot selection.
White posting up on Detch. Nice turn. Soto came over for the help D. He's called for a foul.
Might be an explanation for why he's not out on the floor. Looking like just trying to stretch the...
Jeez, he was in a real meditative state there.
I was going to say, he was awake, wasn't he?
Getting that hold.
Where's Case? Go and give him a little nudge, Case.
Trying to stretch out the glutes.
There's some cause of concern for Adelaide fans, given his injury history.
Well, that's right, and that's probably the reason why he was on the free agency market for so long, is that just that hesitancy about whether or not he can hold up. No questioning his ability, and we've seen it this season when he's playing. You're talking about an Olympian who spent a couple of years in the NBA, and he's got the capabilities to compete with the very best, but can he stay healthy?
Only 14 games last year with the Illawarra Hawks due to injury.
And this, of course, alongside Isaac Humphries, who's got similar issues. He's not playing this afternoon, so it's a big couple of outs. I think Bigman would not be happy with that. He wants attack on the rim.
Well, that's right. I told Jack that his last take was soft. I don't want to hear the S word from your coach at any point in time. And there, bailed the 36ers out with the turnover.
Turnover number 8 for Melbourne in this opening half. Here's McCarron. Flies away. He's no good. Rebound Luala Chul. That's his fourth as we check in with John Casey.
Thanks, Jack. I've just had a brief conversation with Cam Bairstow, and he is struggling at the moment. He said it's just been a big couple of days, obviously backing up after playing Tasmania on Friday night, the travel as well. I mean, outside of Dave Barlow, there may not be a player who does more stretching and working on his body than Cam Bairstow. Didn't want to give a lot away, said he's keen to get back out there, though, in this game, and it's just maintenance rather than an injury issue at the moment.
That's good news for Adelaide. Peatling's fouled. Only 6 minutes for
22.
Cam Bairstow, averaging 22 across the season.
Let's go.
And with this Melbourne United lineup, we've spoken about their depth and how they're using their players. And Agata, the last couple of games, maybe not as involved as he once was. He's got the 5 points this afternoon, 2 of 5. But the other one now that kicks in is Chris Golding. Here's Bairstow back in, so that's good news. But Chris Golding missed his last 9 consecutive shots. The 7th, he didn't make a shot in the last half of his last game, and he's 0 for 2 in this one. Now we all know that at any stage he can catch fire and turn that around real quick, but 3.5 quarters now where he hasn't made a field goal.
See what he has been doing though, Chris Golding, winning ball games.
He does that 12 in a row, I believe.
12 in a row. The CG43 dating back to Game 3 of the semi-final series last year. As Daniel Johnson lines that up from long range.
It's back out to a 5-point lead for the 36ers. The two teams played in round 8. It was a pretty one-sided affair in the second half. Melbourne winning 97-78. Here's Johnson doing it at both ends. Backs up the 3 ball. A big defensive rebound. Wants to go again. Not as close the second time around. Loose ball to be won. Golding pushes ahead for Melbourne. Got that 3 away. Foul on the Luala Chul will be his first. Melbourne's second in the quarter.
So I've been impressed with Adelaide's defensive transition today. Has been a cause for concern for them at various times over the course of this season, and something they've been working hard at ever since they got blown off the court by the Taipans a few weeks back. And today, with that pressure that Drew has been talking about, the heat that Melbourne put on the rim, especially guys like Jack White, they've been getting back, making life tough.
Push. Front court.
Here's Mitch McCarron against his former team. Championship winner last year, All-NBL second team. His best season here in the Hungry Jacks NBL is one of the hottest signatures during the off-season.
Right place, right time, and elite player. And always love that when you're in the player and you're hot in demand in the market. That usually means a few extra shillings along the way, which is a bonus for him. Totally deserved when you have a great season. Mojave King, the other one that we thought that may be done for the game with that ankle injury, he's back on, so good signs there for Mojave King.
Shot clock down to 7. It was passed inside by Bairstow. Withers does the rest.
It's green to get Withers open, and he's having a nice game, Todd Withers. 9 points, 2 boards, an assist, a steal, and Adelaide win it back again.
Here's Bairstow pushing the ball. One end to the other, went with the left hand. Now it's Melbourne with their numbers forward. Peatling thought about the three. Go down low to Luala Chul. Has the mismatch. Put the ball on the floor, and that gave Adelaide time to knock it out of bounds.
Again, that's the type of activity I'm talking about with Todd Withers. He's in this game. You can see he's juiced. He's locked in, and quick double down there. Mojave King was in a spot of bother.
We did the wrong thing. Mojave King just played behind. He was outsized. There, you've got to release the pressure and just get in front. Make him throw it over your head when you've got a mismatch like that on the box.
31-24 at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. Illy, the shot clock ticking down. It's just not clicking for Melbourne.
It's not. It's messy, clunky, and give some credit to that to the Adelaide 36ers. They've been good. If you can guard Melbourne United in that first 8 seconds, then you go a long way to helping your cause. And like Liam was talking about, their defensive transition has been solid.
McCarron, shot clock in single figures. Kicks it back out for Sunday Dedge. Rebound hook party for Melbourne United. They trail the rebound count, as Gazy mentioned, with his bevy of stats before the game.
All there.
Adelaide have led the rebound count in every game this season. Jack White helps himself to 6 points. Less than 3 minutes to play in the opening half. Withers fires away again. He's playing inspired basketball.
This is his best half of basketball since he's been here, or certainly that I've seen. He's knocking down shots, and it can sometimes be as simple as that. And then we get called for a reach in. You heard Dean Vickerman, that's not how we're playing Withers. That's not how we're playing him. And clearly he just doesn't want him to be able to take a couple of dribbles, goes nowhere, and pull up for a 3-ball. But he's 4 of 4, got the 2 rebounds, the 12 points.
Spent last season playing in Italy and Serie A. Look comfortable today. White aggressive on Duffelmeyer. He's Peatling with the offensive rebound and puts it back in.
Great work by the big man.
For all of their struggles, I guess you could call it, in the opening half for Melbourne, they still only trail by 6 points.
It's a grind, and they're doing it without shooting the ball all that well. That's been their biggest problem, Melbourne United. The turnovers have hurt them. 9 turnovers. That's way too many in a half. And they're only shooting it at 38%. 1 of 10 from the 3-point line.
Johnson in the corner. Just drawn contact again.
Just get the feeling in this quarter that Johnson's starting to take matters in his own hands. They've run some good looks. They've run some cuts into the low box. He's forced up a couple, made a tough one, hit the 3, but even then, just aggressively putting it to the deck, trying to get himself going and more engaged on the offensive end, which they need to do. They need to find a way to get him going, but it's about what type of shots you're going to try and create for him. Just throwing him the ball on the box and saying, go to work, DJ. When you're in the groove, that's okay. But when you're just still struggling a little bit, how can you get him some cheapies? Flex cut, whatever it may be.
I like the fact there, at least he put it on the deck. Draw some contact, got himself to the free throw line. He knows that this team needs him to put points on the board. Talked about 3 losses in a row. Well, he's had single-digit scoring games in each of them. They need him ticking that thing over.
Duffelmeyer brings the ball up the floor. Puts his head down and gets to the basket. Nice drive, Tad Duffelmeyer.
It is, and that semi-transition, the floor was spread. It was a good decision in the end because there wasn't a lot of help. and he was able to just to create something. There you see it. Jack White coming in late, goes around, makes a good play in the basket, good finish.
First season as an Adelaide 36er. Spent the previous two playing in Cairns.
Played in Hobart in the NBL 1 last season and was elite at that level. He's a nightmare to guard when he's got the license to put it to the deck.
His first points of the afternoon. Again, Melbourne leaving it late in the clock. Hook Porty stripped. Great hands, McCarron. Hook Porty plays through and is fouled over the back.
They just fought their way through that. Melbourne United, well defended for the most part by the 36ers, but eventually they got the switch. McCarron on Hook Porty down low, and as you say, kept him on his back. Good hands from McCarron initially. Hook Porty stuck with the play.
Sydney and Perth to come this afternoon. 3 o'clock Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Just a little bit of talk around about a potential absentee in that game. Just trying to find out a little bit more information.
Yep. Two best players in the competition so far, in my judgment, on the one team. And the Perth Wildcats, the beneficiary of that. Nick Law and Bryce Cotton. You know what Bryce Cotton is capable of. He's worth tuning in for. Just
They've got a nickname now. Have you heard this?
no.
They're called Vice, the two of them. It's like when, like Benefer, and you know, when couples get together and they have a name.
Vice.
Vice.
Vic.
Bryce and Vic. I saw it written in some notes this week. I thought, okay, we'll give it a go. See if it manages to stick.
A whole lot of creativity done.
2 for Miles. Tees one up. Long rebound falls back to the Adelaide captain, McCarron. Chance to push this to a double-figure lead for Adelaide going into half-time. White stripped. Nice hands by Detch. Even better hands the second time around. It was Bairstow. Adelaide settle in for one meaningful offensive set to finish off what's been a really good half for them. Dufelmeyer lost the handle. Adelaide retained the ball with 5 seconds on the shot clock.
Going to be enough time for Melbourne United if they move it quickly, even if they get a shot. But CJ calls a timeout, wants to draw up something from underneath out of bounds. If you've got it, might as well use it. A lot of times you see coaches in this situation, would be surprised to see D. Vigman go to his own here on this underneath out of bounds, just to try and blow up whatever CJ's going to throw out there.
You've been practicing a full court shot for $100,000?
Well, I was until I learnt that I wasn't eligible. So,
What do you mean?
apparently we're not eligible to enter.
But you got a couple up?
Oh, absolutely. Nothing but I'm very consistent from the heart. The 50 would be in. Latrobe would be very nervous if they saw me from the centre line. At the other end of the floor, not so much.
Could you not just enter under a fake name like some of those times you played on a Monday night at MSAC? Or
Nothing fake about
under
that.
fake names?
It's just out there doing my thing, all above board. Particularly when you run the whole
Andrew
competition.
Schmays or
Run the whole competition, you're allowed to make whatever rules you like.
That man right there, CJ Bruton, first bucket in his NBL career.
Yes.
yeah?
Would have won the 50K.
Would have. At any time, I don't care who you're playing in this competition, you hold a team to under 30 in a half of basketball.
Beautiful.
You have done an outstanding job on the defensive end. And yes, Melbourne United look at their offense and say it's not quite functioning as it should, but still, great effort by the Adelaide 36ers.
4 seconds for Adelaide. And now that leaves 6 for Melbourne.
Blocking foul. Bonus 2.
McCarron fouls White, sends him to the free throw line.
like he's trying to get out of the way. And he's back to the ball
I
carrier.
think we missed one for you. Yeah, I think we missed that one. And looked like it looked like his elbows were out. I think we missed that one.
Spoke before about Chris Golding's winning streak. Jack White, Melbourne have won 17 of the 18 games that Jack White has played for them, including 11 in a row. Those poor kids are starving. They need a Melbourne player to miss 2 free throws. They're going to go home very hungry otherwise. But they will be very happy with the way that their team's played at the half. They lead 38-30, and they're taking it to the ladder leaders.
It is. It's been a great effort by the Adelaide 36ers, coming off a gut-wrenching loss on the road, and they've bounced back, being able to hold Melbourne United to only 36% and keep one of the premier players in the competition, Chris Golding, to only 1 point, 0 of 3, and the fact that he's only had 3 field goal attempts is something that they would be rejoicing in. So it's a great half of basketball for the Adelaide 36ers.
Here's John Casey.
Thanks, Jack. I've got Todd Withers with me here at the moment. Todd, that may be the best defensive half we've seen Adelaide play this year. Do you see it that way?
Absolutely. We forcing turnovers, getting on top of the ball handlers, doing everything to speed them up so we can get possessions on offense. So I think this is the best defensive we've been really intact.
You've been in double figures 3 of your last 4 games, including here. Do you think you're in your best form of the season?
I'm trying to be, but the guys are really fond of me now. I feel like, we're using the mismatches really, really well, like getting Macca and Sunday going, getting DJ going, and that opens up things for me. So I feel like it's the best I've felt so far.
Great first half. Good luck after the break.
Thank you so much.
Todd Withers there with us at the moment. Adelaide with an 8-point lead. They restricted Melbourne to just 11 points in that quarter while scoring 21 of their own. So Adelaide looking good. Can they do it for the second half? Find out when you come back right after this.
Great to have your company. Sunday Hoops in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Adelaide 36ers at home today. 9th on the table, 3 wins and 6 losses for the season so far. They find themselves, though, 8 points up at half-time against the ladder-leading Melbourne United.
It is. It's been a grind for both these teams, and you see the way in which they've been attacking the rim and getting some results on the rim. Defensive transition has been good for the Adelaide 36ers. Melbourne are elite at getting those early options, but we've seen their bigs. Cam Bairstow continues to show that he's potentially the pickup of the season, and Adelaide 36ers still got plenty to give. They're only shooting at 40% from the field and 4 of 12 from the three-point line, but given where they've been at and coming off those 3 consecutive losses and a tough loss on the road to the Jack Jumpers, they've bounced back well. Bairstow with the 8 points. Withers playing his best half of basketball in the NBL so far, and down the other end, really no standouts. Leading the team with Joe Luala-Chul with 6 points, and he's also got a lot more to give. The shooting numbers from both teams aren't great, but also you look at the Adelaide 36ers, 6 of 11 three-point line, so there's still plenty to work on there. Pretty even situation on the rebounding count, and the turnovers is something that's been an advantage of the Adelaide 36ers. 10 turnovers to Melbourne United, and some of those were just Melbourne United a little sloppy. But you can see the active hands and the way they're helping out a lot more urgency with the Adelaide 36er defence this afternoon.
Let's take a look at the SodaStream shot chart so far, Gazy, for Melbourne in the opening half. We associate with players like Golding and Barlow, and even the way that Delhi's been shooting the ball. You would think it would look a little bit better than that. That's not a great shot chart by any stretch of it.
No, because there's so many X's around that three-point line. We heard early on that Dean Vickerman was making a point of emphasis to get to the rim and try and get to the free throw line, and they haven't been able to do that because they can't make a three-point basket. And now if you make those three-point baskets, spreads the floor a little bit more, and it puts a lot more pressure on how in which you're going to deal with that penetration, can open things up a little bit. But they're only 1 of 11 from the three-point line. Now they have been a good three-point shooting team. They're averaging 34% from the three-point line as a team in their game so far. So that is an area where they would expect to improve in the second half. Hard to see him going 1 of 11 again in the second half.
You wouldn't have thought so. Liam Santamaria is in the analysis centre. Liam, take us through some of the things that Adelaide have done really well in this opening half.
Well, really impressive at the defensive end. They just kept Melbourne United to 11 points in that second quarter, and this Melbourne United team are tough to score on, so if you can create transition opportunities, you can get some good things happen. And look, to be honest, they've been getting back on tee, but they've just been really sound in the half court. Here you see the kick to Dave Barlow. He goes to release it, and just a solid contest here from Todd Withers. And as a result, the Adelaide 36ers are able to clean the glass, and off they go in transition. And you can see here, Mitch McCarron, this is what they missed the other night. He has the vision here to see, I'm going to try and get something here going for Todd Withers. And as a result, little handoff here, and then Cam Bairstow slaps on the ball screen, the defense slips under, and Todd Withers knocks it in. Again, early offense. In this next set, you see Tad Duffelmeyer here. This is the scout when you're playing Shea Illy, is to slip underneath the screen, and you got to have the discipline to keep doing that. They set the re-screen, he slips under again, force Illy into a long triple. Again, they clean the defensive glass, and early offense. You see Tad Duffelmeyer Jr. here in secondary transition, and he's just surveying the floor. Adelaide keeping it spread, and look at all this space here in the lane. This is a shooter in the corner over here. That's going to keep Hook Porty honest as Duffelmeyer Jr. attacks the rim and gets a bucket off the board. So that's nice work from Adelaide defensively, Drewy.
That is great work by you, Liam. But here's the thing, as a coach, you're coming into the game and saying, well, hey, we've just been annihilated on the boards by the Jack Jumpers. We gave up 20 offensive rebounds. So if you look at these clips and we roll the first one here, the thing that you'd like to see is an adjustment. A shot goes up. We've got 8 feet in the paint contesting the glass. We've got the numerical advantage, and we were able to secure the rebound. And that allows us to run because we're getting the boards. The same thing. Next game up, next play up. Same action here. Yeah, we're going under, but what happens when the shot goes up? The shot goes up. We've got a conscious effort of trying to protect. Okay, they've got the Melbourne United attacking the glass, but we're in good position, front positions, box out positions. We're able to secure the rebound and get running. All the other stuff, can't do this if you don't get the ball. 20 offensive rebounds, not good enough. Only 3-0 boards for Melbourne United. Well done to CJ Bruton and the adjustments that they were able to make. Cam Lim, sorry to steal your thunder, my friend.
I'd like to have another look at that creepy sort of walk-on you just did. You had a real dodgy look on your face. As we head to the break, you too can play like a pro thanks to Bunnings Warehouse, who are giving you the chance to win your very own court at home. You can enter now at win.nbl.com.au/Bunnings.
I was out there every day, so I think if I had a full court, you wouldn't get me inside.
Most of the games I played on the lower hoop, just
We're ready to go to start the third quarter on Sunday Hoops at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. The first of 3 games. Adelaide start this third quarter leading by 8. At the top of the table, Melbourne United. Still a long, long way to go in this game, though. Dellavedova hands off to Agata. 2 off target. Offensive rebound. Jack White was big.
Jeez.
Great pass underneath to Luala Tool.
Just as I was giving him a rap for all the work they were doing on the defensive boards, the Adelaide 36ers, they give up an easy one to start this second half.
What needs to change for Melbourne, Liam, in this third quarter?
I need to get after it a little bit more, like they did just there, because Adelaide are playing them tough. Another score for Todd Withers, game high 14 points for him, but really sound in the half court defensively right now, Adelaide, but stick with it, get an extra possession on the glass. Adelaide out hustling them, out playing them right now. Melbourne need to turn up their energy.
Well, 3 of 12 on the field in that second quarter. Melbourne United, 0 of 5 from threes for 11 points. That's not going to cut it against anyone in the competition. So sometimes you can break it down. There's an explanation for why the percentages are that low. And other times it's just put the ball in the hole.
That's a very frustrated Dean Vickerman right now, who has a 17-win, 4-loss record coaching against the Adelaide 36ers.
That's solid.
That's healthy.
It's very, very good.
And if you take out 2 of those losses, which were in the grand final series from a couple of years ago, he's 13 of 15 in the regular season coaching against Adelaide. Not bad.
Wasn't that a spectacular grand final series? We're going either way.
Yeah, one of the greats, all-time greats. This final series we've seen.
Changed on it. Nathan Sobey. Half-time ejection. Game
Maybe.
I'll tell you what. Good strong take from Jack White. Daniel Johnson, he's got to do better. Sit down, slide your feet. Stay in front of your man.
Like I was talking about earlier, if you're going to get beat, know where you're going to get beat. So I'm going to overplay, take something away and do my best to slide my feet and keep going one way. But when you've got choices and they can spin back on you, that becomes hard.
White aggressive again to the rack. Didn't finish off that time.
There's already an early substitution here for Cam Bairstow. Here's Jack White, quick little left to right cross. And he's all over the rim. That is just Matador style defense.
Was it?
There from the big fella.
Was a little crossover. But he certainly wasn't in a fundamentally sound defensive position, sliding those puppies, keeping him going one way. When he crossed that over, that's what I'm saying. When you're forcing him one way, okay, I'm going to send him left. When he crosses over, he's got to run into you. You can't just let him go by.
Bairstow out of the game, as Liam said. Nice Soto checking in. Sunday Ditch forces Golding into a foul. This Bairstow has played 11 minutes today, 9 points and 7 rebounds. So no question with his output, but as he told John Casey in the opening half, just feeling a little sore after Friday night's game.
Played those 26 minutes, 18 rebound hauls. Most from any player in an individual game this season.
Come on, man, 26. You're telling me after 26 and then a day off that he's cool?
No, I'm not telling you that.
Right.
That's what he's telling Case.
Well, I would like to think that it'd be some sort of injury related rather than just fatigue that's broken him down after a hard-fought 26-minute effort.
I think Liam's just sent a little bit of don't hate the player, hate the game your way, Drew.
Well, I'm saying what I'm suggesting is that there have to be some injury issue.
He doesn't have a lot of run in the legs in recent times. Bairstow barely played last season, of course, for Illawarra. And he's come into the starting lineup playing really well and just finding it a bit tough today.
Soto at the top of the key, that's not a good pass.
That's the second time we've seen that from Soto. DJ has the seal down low. You got to give it to him. He doesn't want to release that seal.
And that's one of his great advantages. With that size, if he can, it's very hard to pressure that pass. He brings it up, just got to find the target and get it to him.
43-34. Dellavedova to the basket. Soto's length was a problem for him, but Lawala Chul's length has been a problem for everyone this season.
Well, they had the numbers. There's a 4-on-1, and the one come up with it. Wanted it a little bit more.
There's that length once more. Blocks the shot. Withers is fouled while shooting the three ball. He goes to the free throw line to shoot three.
And Drew, you talk about wanting it more. This is the block shot from Joe Lawala-Chul sending Sunday Ditch away. He's blocked 2 or more shots in each of his last 7 games. Joe Lawala-Chul. That's an impact. That's his first one today. But I think that would have been the key message from Dean Vickerman at half time. That's 4th personal on Caleb Agata. He takes the seat. Won't see him for the rest of this term. How hard are you playing? How much do you want it? They're outplaying you. Adelaide kept Melbourne at 3 offensive rebounds in that first half. So they're 1 of 11 from 3, but they're not cleaning up and getting extra opportunities. 2 early ones in this third quarter that have resulted in easy buckets. They have lifted their energy.
Well, they came out with it. You've got an 8-point lead, and you think, we'll just feel our way through this. Things are going nicely. Melbourne United crank it up a little bit on the defensive end. But this Adelaide team, when you're, 3 and 6, and you've just come off a tough road loss, you've got to be playing for your life. Every possession. If I'm CJ Bruin, I'd rather my 2 guys wrestling for it on the defensive glass than just standing there hoping it falls in the direction of one of my players.
Let's get courtside to John Casey.
Jack, Caleb Agata's had 2 slow games here in Adelaide, just 6 points when they played here last Saturday night. Hasn't scored since quarter time in this game, but then again, neither has Chris Golding. They certainly just need someone to come up with the goods from deep. They had a poor night shooting-wise. Agata came in averaging 15 points a game, so they need to get a little bit more output out of him at the moment as Adelaide lead by 10.
And to back those shooting stats up, Case, 1 of 15 from outside today, 6% from the arc, Melbourne United. Johnson tries to step out. White, nice take in transition, and the finish. Jack White, playing a lone hand this afternoon, has 11 points to go with 5 rebounds.
He's leading the charge in terms of lifting that energy, getting on the offensive glass, getting out in transition, making things happen.
Soto fires away for 3. White again pushes the issue. Lawala-Chul has White. Soto lost him defensively, and White gets upstairs. He scored the last 4 points in the game, and Melbourne have got it back to a 6-point deficit.
Soto's just caught between watching the ball. He was retreating. And here is White, just the energy. Great pass on the outlet, just using his strength to rise up. Easy one. And down low, you see Soto in no man. He's sort of there, no ball pressure, no hand pressure. And a simple pass to a cutting Jack White finishes it off with a 2-hand dunk. CJ straight away calls a timeout.
Ball here. We dig. Your guys here. Just keep backing up to keep him in front. Offensively right now, I need the drag. You got to keep finding pace. Second side down is good. So we got flow down. Swing the ball. Down screen. Curl this first guy. Pop Dusty out.
Okay, good.
Dusty, you're the high guy. Then go set it. Okay.
46-40. 5 minutes 49 remaining in the third quarter.
Talk about the impact of Jack White to start this third quarter. I mean, he has run himself into exhaustion with his efforts these last few players. Here's the call for the timeout, and he says, great, because I need to catch a breath. Getting after the offensive glass, getting out in transition, keeled over. That Dean Vickerman would love that kind of him. We talk about 17-1 as a pro. This is White. He's a winner, makes winning plays, and he's lifted his intensity to begin this second half.
And for Melbourne fans, next Sunday, United return home for the first time in over a month. Tones and I are going to be playing at halftime. Drewy, one of your favourites?
Dude, Frankston girl.
Offensive foul on Soto.
Good game. They got through the set that CJ was talking about and got to the action, and just a moving foul there by Soto. Gets called for the block. The other thing too is Chris Golding's 0 of 4. He's gone 4 quarters, consecutive quarters, without a field goal. And Leonard Copeland spoke about this the last time we played, as we see Jack White continue to dominate on the offensive end. But there are times, as great as Chris Golding is, that do they run enough sets for him? When he's going through a spell like this, do they actually get to enough action and have a set play for him rather than just relying on transition and a very poor entry pass by Golding that time?
Wide ball.
Todd Withers is adamant that he wasn't the last man to touch this. He's begging CJ Bruton to take it to the replay centre.
Sit in, Dusty.
They decide not to.
Sit in.
He was pretty confident, wasn't he?
Golding got into the paint. That's well short. 0 from 5 today. McCarron for Soto.
Yes, sir. What beautiful finish from Soto. McCarron just held it back an extra moment. The pass wasn't exactly on the spot.
It was a rubbish pass.
Soto made it work.
Made it look good by Soto. Soto looking like he's running in mud a little bit as well. He's fatigued. So we got to push through.
Bairstow into the paint, over the top of White.
He's got his wind about him. Cam Bairstow checking back in, roll the ball into the big fella, and he continues to tick it over. He's in the double digits now with 11.
36ers lead by 8. Dellavedova forces Withers into a foul.
This is a pass that was well short and low, and Soto, just with the creativity extra point value, hoping that it was going to be the regulation dunk, but made a poor pass look pretty good and has a spell. Good run by the big man. Soto is proving to be, we weren't sure what we were going to get out of Soto, but played the 13 minutes, he's 70 points. Only got the 2 boards, and even in that game against the Jack Jumpers only had the 2, so that's an area where he can improve. You can see his touch, his finesse, tidy up some of those passes, get a little stronger, and a man of his size is going to be in demand.
The pride of the Philippines, the 19-year-old. Global audience this afternoon for Sunday Hoops and the Hungry Jacks NBL. They ride every single possession when Soto's on the floor.
Bairstow with the moving foul again. Just the hips moving out. You don't need to do that. It's a relatively easy one for the officials to make, that call. And his intent is good, Bairstow there, but just as he handled the ball off, just sticks his butt out and gets called for the moving screen.
Adelaide led by 8 at halftime. The lead is currently 6. Peatling takes it at Daniel Johnson, and he picks up his first foul.
Make it a focus of Johnson. Defensively, Melbourne United. And you know what? If you've got DJ in front of you, put it on the deck, get to the rim. Simple handoff at the top. And Mason Peatling aggressive to the rim.
Mason Peatling very good when the team's played in round 8. 11 points off the bench on 4 of 6 shooting.
Free throw percentage a little down this season, only at 58%. Career-wise, he's been pretty good at 73%. Knocks down a couple there.
Withers comes out of the game with 17 points and 5 rebounds. One of his best performances as an Adelaide 36er, and that is sloppy. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again?
That one was a little different. I think that he wasn't helped that time with McCarron taking off before the screen was set. Here he is. See, he's put the ball on the floor, and he's on the drive before Bairstow is in a stationary position. So McCarron is half to blame on that one.
Newley takes it out to Illy. It's into the paint. It's a tough shot in the end. Foul's on the ground, but that'll be bonus bonus free throws for Melbourne.
Another offensive rebound. They did such a good job in the first half.
Only had 3.
You only had 3?
Now they're up to 7 offensive rebounds.
And for the most part, they're having a lot of possessions here. They're doing a good job. Forcing misses, and they've just got to finish that possession by cleaning the glass.
He's sitting in the two-way. That is a part of the game. You got to call what's part of the game. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
He went out.
I don't care.
Back.
He did it. He did it. And he wants to coach.
Wheatley makes the second. Those poor kids, they're going to eat the chair. They go the entire game without a burger.
Here we go. Right side. Let's go.
They're desperate for a Melbourne player to miss a couple. 3-point game. Melbourne are doing it slowly, but have edged their way back in. Bairstow for 3. Rebound Dellavedova. He's got his head down and wants to get busy on Dusty Hannes. Hook Porty. Faces up on Bairstow. Goes with the right hand. You get at the stick. Bairstow identifies that Johnson had the seal. Nice pass. Better offense.
Well, that's the action, the high-low action, big to big that Adelaide have been trying to execute. Soto a couple of times out of bounds. Bairstow there puts it right in Johnson's hands. And he's doing a good job sealing up down there, the big fella. And you've got to reward him.
And almost a bit old school, that play. It used to be every single team would try and have a rim runner every possession where you run the rim and tuck in. That you don't see it as much these days with more 5-out, straight in on balls and getting into early action. But that time, DJ does a good job. Just sprints down. He's got a good defender on him in Peatling, but just seals underneath the basket. And the high-low action, very effective on that occasion when the pass is on the money.
It's Chris Golding coming back in. 0 from 5 from the field. He's the best 3-point shooter in the competition this year. Averages 4 a game. We've seen him take 3. Unsuccessful in all of it.
Was dealing with an elite defender in Sunday Detch.
Got away from Detch that time. Decent look for 3. Rebound McCarron. Soto back on the floor. Hannes. Not that time. Soto outstanding. On the offensive glass. Had one arm held. Tipped it back in with the other.
Quite enjoying his own work, as he should. Got a little lucky, but put the paw up. The hand goes up. He's just going up there and is able to guide it in. And no substitute for size. And the big fella just gets in front of the basket, gets his hands up in the right position. It's a nice bounce and tidies up the Hannah's miss.
Down the other end, Drew, Melbourne doing what you were talking about before. Chris Golding checks in. They run some action for him. Straight away, get the switch, get Detch off him. Hannah's as the defender, and then throw in another pick. He's now 0 of 4 from long range.
2 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Really important 2 minutes for both teams. Newley is helped in by Hook Porty. Joe Luala-Chul sitting on the bench at the moment. Jack White, the leading scorer for Melbourne with 15. Toz Withers is Adelaide's leading scorer with 17. Hannes with a hand in the face. Doesn't get it to drop. Porty keeps it in for Illy. And Newley had Peatling running the floor in transition.
Go! Run the floor! Keep running!
Sensational pass.
That's just it's a beautiful pass and a great run. Talk about rim running, Drewy. Mason Peatling just putting his head down, sprinting that middle lane and getting rewarded.
43. Hold.
And Melbourne United are going to do that. They're going to continually test you in transition. They are flying it. Everyone's running the floor. And just got to dig deep if you're an Adelaide 36er defender and understand that's the objective. And almost go back to a similar style which we saw from the legendary Joey Wright with his Adelaide 36ers. that was the Adelaide 36's calling card.
I know, but it was at the front. It wasn't pulling behind.
And
They
then-
were both at the front. Yeah. Not from behind. Yeah.
Melbourne United now trying to use similar strategy in order to pick up those cheaper baskets, and they're very effective at it with this incredible depth of talent that allows them to rotate their guys, keep the energy level high.
Newley has a fumble. Almost knocked it out of bounds. Hands over to Golding. Shot clock at 6. Room to get the 3 ball away. That jumps out of the cylinder. Sums up his afternoon.
Not going to lose confidence. Chris Golding, 0 of 7 from the field, 0 of 5 from long range. Just the 1 point on the board, but that was a good look. Can't keep giving those to him because he'll start knocking them down.
'36ers are going to take a lead into three-quarter time.
Oh, looked like a hook by DJ. Dean Boston.
That one, because that's a straight hook around his head.
I thought so.
The first play?
Yeah, that's a straight hook. Time out, reviewing it.
Hang on.
Mitch, I see that play at all. Yeah, no,
Not sure you can review a non-call.
I can't give you an answer. I literally don't have a view on it.
But how can, this is the problem that Dean Vickerman's going to have,
All right,
is
so
that
you have a timeout, guys. All right.
The coach is asking that preview the foul.
Yes.
There is a hook before the foul.
but that was before the foul.
He's got a blocking.
You can only review the foul. Now that's the hook that I was talking about, but then he got called for the push.
The coach is asking for 2 sets of play. He's asking for a hook before.
No, he can only challenge.
Yeah, thank you.
If it's a blocking, that's what he's asking for. So blocking foul we have.
What's a block?
No problem. All right, cool. Do you have that replay center?
Well, he's going to win.
Unfortunately, they missed the hook.
Yeah,
They missed the hook in the moment.
Dean
and that's
won't win.
gone.
Yeah, so Dean can't win this
No,
one. Now he's correct because it was a foul.
Yeah.
And this is the difficulty with the review system. You can't challenge a non-call.
Right.
You can only challenge the call. So the call was for the block. So they've missed that, but then they've got that. So then they've got now the push and the block. So this is going to be in the that category that.
So for those watching at home, maybe not too familiar with the review system, each coach has 1 per game, but you can only challenge what has been called, as Gazy said, not what hasn't been called. A foul can't come later after a review. So that hook with the left arm of Daniel Johnson's is irrelevant now.
Which should have been called.
Should have been called,
But it wasn't.
Foul on
No.
DJ when unwhistled, and then you see Mason
Yes,
Healy
with
just
the-
leaning in with
the left arm.
arm and shoulder. That was the blocking foul. That's now what Dean Vickman is essentially challenging, and he's going to lose that challenge.
Now, my argument would be is that because it's all in the same place, it's a bang-bang type thing.
Right.
If you're going to expand that review system, then I think it is you should include those plays. Now, if it's been fouled, you take a dribble and then something else happens and then you go, but well, okay, I understand you've got to draw the line somewhere. But in a bang-bang play like that I think that they can't, but...
Okay, so the coach's challenge is successful.
Whoa.
The call is
Lovely.
overturned.
Wow.
The foul will be on blue 21, offensive foul. White ball at the baseline.
Well, maybe I don't know the rules.
Well, that's a surprise.
Maybe I don't know the rules.
Overturned.
We'll have to get clarification of
Overturned.
that
White ball down here, Ruben.
after the fact. That's
Yeah, no problem.
Not my
Okay.
understanding
not
of the
how
rules.
it's sorted either.
Thank you.
Dean Vickerman.
Now, morally, it's the right thing, in my view. But according to the rules, that's what...
Happy days for
we'll need an explanation.
Mitch.
Hear a little bit of the explanation. CJ Illy into the corner for Newley.
Here we go.
Adelaide take control. Shot clock switched off. Soto found Hannah's cutting. He was clubbed by Brad Newley.
What we have from outside the 6 of nibs on the contact.
Yeah, so I want to have a look at this. So replay center, can we have a look at this for C2?
Really good read from the 36ers, the back cut from Hannah's. Fisher's going to have another look at this as a potential upgrade with the wind up there and Brad Newley coming down across the head. He's really going for the ball, ends up making contact with the front of Hannah's head.
So what will the replay center be looking at here, Liam? More sufficient force than the original call?
Excessive force.
Yep.
Yeah, but geez, I don't know. I'm still trying to recover from the previous one. Stay focused on this one, I guess.
Well, I think he's clearly hit him in the head, but I don't know was there enough force to warrant an upgrade. Is there? Well, it's certainly not intentional. He's going for the ball.
No.
Okay.
But I'm a little gun shy here.
So the call has been deemed to be an unsportsmanlike.
Well, the only way
We haven't had a good couple of minutes here.
Well, the only way I thought that could be the case is if it was got to a level of force, because it was a sort of a glancing blow, and he had his hand on the ball, didn't he?
On swings and roundabouts, Adelaide fans wouldn't have been happy with the way the previous challenge worked out. They got the result there. We've got an 8-point game. Just on the verge of three-quarter time.
Sunday Detch out. Hiram Harris in to add an extra shooter on the floor for this last play. And that hurts. Off the knee of McCarron. Melbourne will get a bonus possession here. In 239 NBL games, Melbourne United have never made less than 3 threes in a game. They've got one in essentially 3 quarters.
One of 19. That is good fortune for Adelaide.
And they couldn't make it to McCarron. Big block on the stroke of three-quarter time. Adelaide take an 8-point lead into the final quarter. 59-51 at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. Have the 36ers got the goods to shock the ladder leaders? Don't go too far. You'll find out next on Sunday Hoops. quarter time in game one on Sunday Hoops, and Adelaide 36ers are leading Melbourne United 59-51 with a quarter to play. They haven't let up at any stage, the 36ers.
Sure haven't. Right in this thing. Great way to finish the quarter there. McCarron sending his championship-winning former teammate away. Can they close it out? Really should have closed it out the other night in Tasmania. Put themselves in a terrific position right here, Adelaide, to cause a massive upset.
They've had a couple of opportunities this season, Adelaide, going into the last quarter to close out games. Friday is the most recent memory for them, and their loss to Tasmania. Found themselves 12 up in that game. Golden opportunity on their home floor today. Hannah's off balance, gets it to go.
And with his defense being played, a little creativity, and Hannah's has got that where he can sometimes create things off the dribble, can get himself into trouble, but Chris Golding just showing a level of anxiety and goes down. He's been hit, it would appear. Really forcing the issue that time by Chris Golding, and
a hard landing too.
Was it Peatling that hit him?
And then the way his head hits the floor too.
Just hit his hip. Golding's hip hit Peatling. Golding's head hits Peatling's hip, and that's what caused him some discomfort.
And then his head hit the floor on the way down too, so medical officials will take a look at Chris Golding with the protocols in place now.
Sit in. Hey, Todd, under.
Adelaide lead by 10. Agata back out there, perhaps a little earlier than Dean Bickerman may have liked, with 4 fouls. They need to find a way to get some offense going. That'll help. Tip dunk from Luala Chul.
Well, that's one way to find some offense that's worked pretty well for them in this second half. Getting on the offensive glass. Luala Chul and Jack White creating extra possessions and helping find some baskets.
That's just a breakdown. They got to box out.
Hannah's misses the layup. Newley downhill, a hard man to stop when he's in that mode. South Australian back at home today. Played some good minutes for them across the season. Melbourne have scored back-to-back buckets. It's a more manageable 6-point deficit for them. Luala Chul stole it away, and up he goes. 6-0 run. JLA's flexing, and CJ Bruton's got a problem. 61-57 on Sunday Hoops. How quickly it can turn.
It is, and just really sloppy play. We take a look at the dunk. Luala Chul in the lanes, does the right thing up and in. And just a little stagnant and hesitant on the offensive end. And Melbourne United, like champion teams do, when the game's on the line, they crank it up on the defensive end. They've started this fourth quarter in full denial, ball pressure mode. And that first play we saw by Dusty Hannahs is something that they might need to revisit. When they're that overplaying so much, get a little back cut, a little ISO ball because there's not a lot of help. Those are the sort of things CJ Bruton would be looking at to find a way to keep this scoreboard ticking over.
The quarter's only been going 90 seconds, but the game is changing before our very eyes.
Sure is. Joe Luala Chul just getting into the passing lane, sloppy pay, and then found the camera. Oh, yeah. That's exactly where the lens is. Let's everyone at home know all about it. Adelaide got to keep scoring. Melbourne, when they get into this mode defensively, they life really tough. Nobody's scored over 18 in the fourth quarter against Melbourne in this 8-game winning streak. 36ers, 20 plus in each of the last couple of quarters. Gotta keep finding ways to put the ball in the bucket.
And they've looked a little bit nervous trying to protect this lead. And another potential turnover or sloppy play. And as Melbourne United are cranking it up, CJ's got to figure out, well, what's the counter to that? A little backdoor cut, pick up a cheapie like that, or spread the floor because they're in that denial mode and get some ISO ball. Get to the rim, try and draw the foul, get to the free throw line. Like that.
Withers couldn't finish. Bairstow does. 11 points and 9 rebounds. In fact, make that 13 and 10. Double-double territory for Cam Bairstow. Now he's trying to stop Lawala Chul in the low block. Heatling on the offensive glass. Loose ball. It'll be Melbourne's.
How can I pick out of that? You're both
Good help from Withers. He's coming across at the right moment to force that miss from JLA. And then all hands on deck. Real scramble to clear that board. Melbourne get it back.
So, Drew, with the Adelaide 36ers, their execution was an issue down the stretch on Friday, and it has been. Who's the man in the fourth quarter? Who do they play through?
Well, Bairstow's been a good toe. We saw him get a nice putback there. Also, Withers is he's one of his best games for the Adelaide 36ers. They're going to be your targets. And it's usually Daniel Johnson. It's usually him. And in these moments, he has this uncanny knack, despite having not necessarily one of his better games. When the game's on the line, he welcomes that pressure. So they do have some options to go to.
Here's Chris Golding as we check in with John Casey.
Thanks, Jack. Yeah, Chris was taken away from the huddle during that last time out and was assessed by the Adelaide 36ers doctor. He was smiling, appeared to be lucid and suggesting from what I could see that he is okay, and he's made his way back onto the bench. So one suspects that he is good to go if he's required. Crowd here today, 4,906. It's a little bigger than it was when Melbourne were here last weekend when it was 4,819, but pushing 5,000 at every home game. The fans here in Adelaide sticking fat with their team and some of the best crowds in the NBL this season here in Adelaide.
Well, Case, if they can get the job done today, that next home game, the crowd against the Taipans might look a little juicier.
I think they do have limitations in South Australia in the venue capacity here as well. So
we should never forget the world we're living in at the moment, should we?
they'd probably be drawing a few more than that if it weren't for that. If I am actually correct, I know it was a couple of weeks ago. I assume that things are still the same.
Oh, your research has been impeccable today. I highly doubt that you're wrong. Lawala Chul went up. Bairstow is saying that he got nothing but ball.
Now, this might be worthy of a challenge right here. Big moment. Lead by 5. Might have been a push there, but we can't, or maybe you can, and that's a lot of ball from that angle.
Time out, please.
Yes.
Here we go.
Not sure who's on the video review for the Adelaide 36ers. Someone behind there would have been quickly having a look at that to give CJ the advice of whether to challenge it or not. And the call was for hands foul, was it?
I believe so. Yes. Here are the angles that the replay centre are looking at.
It's all ball upstairs. From that. Down that, the left screen there, the main one. The down the court view. Here it is. It's Bairstow. Goes up. That's all ball.
That's clean.
That is all ball. Now, on the basis that I think that this is all ball, guaranteed,
Almost certain.
this will not be over.
Go the other way.
Yes.
Let's be honest. But CJ Bruton did hold on to his challenge earlier in the game. Remember, Top Withers was fervent in his desire to get an out-of-bounds call, I think it was, reviewed. CJ just kept that thing holstered, brought it out in this big moment.
It's also not just the fact you might lose the call here, but here's the timeout as well. That's all ball. Stunning.
growing confidence every time I see that replay. Another key moment in the game right here.
Where it would have been maybe questionable is whether it was a push before he got there, but that's not what we believe we're reviewing. We're reviewing the action on the rim, and that's a block. Sure why it's taking so long.
Based on our form today with the reviews, we are no gauge for what may be correct.
Well, we're over.
We are over.
At this point.
We're Chris Golding today.
The coach's challenge is unsuccessful. The ball is confirmed. The foul is on blue 41, and you have 2 shots. You have 2 shots.
Honest to goodness, we couldn't hit a cow's backside with a guitar today, the three of us, when it comes to reviews.
Well, there you go.
Well, unless, of course, it wasn't for the action on the rim, and maybe it was the push, but... Dear me.
And that's now 4 on Bairstow. So 4 for Todd Withers, 4 for Cam Bairstow. Could potentially be a problem for CJ Brute.
Huge, because he's got this tough matchup. Melbourne not going to stop attacking.
1 of 2 that trip to the free throw line. 16 points and 8 rebounds across the afternoon for one of the competition's premier big men this season. Johnson falling away on White. Defensive rebound by Bairstow. The 36ers another look at it. Shot clock at 6 for Duffelmeyer. He can see a path to the basket. It's tipped in by Bairstow.
Good take from Duffelmeyer.
Correct.
He's in the game in a big moment here in the 4th quarter and puts the pressure on the defense. The guard is on 4, doesn't want to foul, got the step, couldn't finish. But DJ there for the tip.
Walatul trying to take over at the other end. Threw it up, made it work.
Pretty sure he wasn't intentionally trying to throw that one off the backboard, but just got it up there, just trying to draw the foul. That last challenge did cost him. There's 0 timeouts left for the Adelaide 36ers after losing that challenge.
Knocked down in the mid-range from Bairstow. 17 points and 11 rebounds today. Walatul gave up the 3. Back out for Agata. He's clipped on the hand by McCarron.
They're trying to be physical and make things tough defensively. Adelaide with McCarron just a little overzealous.
You can't question what they're doing on the 3-point line because Melbourne United 1 of 19. So, but on that situation, you see what they're doing. The defense is in a drop situation, and they're relying on getting over the top and trying to swipe from behind and take away the 3-ball that way. And like I said, it has been successful. But in these big moments like we have here, as you get closer to the finish line and it's getting tight.
We have 2 shots.
They're the ones where you sometimes have to change it just because of the context of the game. Not that necessarily your strategy has not been successful up to this point.
All right, 1.
Agata makes it a 3-point game.
Ted, get open! Ted, get open!
Bairstow out of the game with those 4 fouls, so can't imagine he's going to, I reckon 2 minutes. I reckon about the 4-minute mark is when CJ would be looking to bring Bairstow back into the contest.
Same with Withers.
Yeah, similar.
Duffelmeyer. Feeds Johnson. Tracks a crowd. Good look for McCarron. Captain buries the 3.
I like that. Huge. Play through Daniel Johnson in the post. As Drewy said, makes good decisions in tight situations. Johnson.
He travelled.
Agata well short with a hand in the face. Long rebound lands in the hands of Daniel Johnson. Coming up to 5 minutes remaining at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. Sydney and Perth next to go at Kudos Bank Arena. McCarron this time puts the ball on the floor.
And they're coming off McCarron for that double team. When they're throwing it down to DJ, it's the high guy, and they're coming off McCarron. He got burnt the last time down the floor. And after you've made one to go back and do it again, it was a decent recovery to try and get back to McCarron. And I know McCarron, 7 of 20, only 30%, and that's 5 fouls for Agata. So they lose his defense, but you got Shea Illy coming in to replace me. He's pretty handy on the defensive end as well.
Tough inbound for Adelaide. Soto did well to be a target. Two for my hand in the face from Golding. Just did enough defensively. Jack White running the lanes. Spins. That was off his leg last.
Every one of these stops, the bucket before from Mitch McCarron just makes things a little easier for CJ Bruton in that decision with Cam Bairstow, Todd Withers, those guys with 4 fouls. If things had gone the other direction, maybe he would have thrown him straight back out there, but can continue to sit on those guys for right now.
Johnson saw Soto. Had to fire with the right hand. It drops out.
Good play, high-low action that they get through, get a good shot.
Porting. Guarded by Soto. Couldn't finish. Melbourne knock it out of bounds. Adelaide get it back. Porty comes out.
Get over it. Let's go then. Go. You got time.
Todd Withers still sitting for Adelaide. Their leading scorer in the game with 17. And a career high for him here in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
Bairstow getting ready to check back in.
Shot clock at 4. McCarron falling away. Jack White on tired legs. Takes it up the floor for Melbourne. Dellavedova, 1 of 6 across the afternoon. Used to bank at home. Adelaide almost gave it up. Sunday Dech, feet set. This game on a nice edge right now. Illy out for White. Yes.
Big hit. Huge. Jack White has been massive in this second half. Crucial at the start of the third quarter, lifting the energy for Melbourne United. And that one, oh my goodness, they've left it behind.
Here's Golding, and this is not what Adelaide need. Luala Toole crashed the offensive glass. Hard landing. He's going to be called for the foul.
And you can hear on this White 3. Did you hear DJ in the background? Stay at home, DJ. Stay at home, DJ. DJ didn't stay at home. And he came in there and helped out, and the kick out was there. And White knocks it down for a huge play.
He's had such an influence on this team since his return from a season-ending Achilles injury last year. Timeout called with 2:37 remaining. Adelaide, who have led virtually since quarter time, had their lead dwindle down to just 3. We're about to head into the Adelaide United timeout. Here's coach CJ Bruton.
But on offense, flow power. I want Goulding down here. So Goulding's the first screener. So that's probably you, Todd. Macca's got the ball. again, like we did before, Bear, DJ, Todd, Sunday. So just jumps, yeah. As soon as you come down, just go straight to the block, throw it to Bear, get open, DJ, down screen, go, Bear, I want you to dribble, give it, if you can give it to him, great, otherwise, power, okay? And second side cross after, here we go. Get the second side cross after.
Kai Soto sitting down now, but off the bench today, he's been fantastic. 10 points on 3 of 6, has had 3 rebounds as well, and he's a little stronger on the floor this afternoon.
He is. He's a very skilled big man. You can see he can get up and down the floor, carries his hands high, uses his length, and then it's an area where he needs to do better on the boards. Got his size, and you see if he can get his hands up, he can tip it in, but as this season's rolled on, started it, missed a lot of games with injuries, but as he's starting to acclimatise to the NBL, he's going to play a significant role for the Adelaide 36ers, which we weren't sure of when they first signed him.
Todd Withers back out there now. The last 2.5 minutes. Here he is in the low block. White came across and stripped him of it, and Withers is going to foul out. 0 hit.
He's got nothing to complain about there. He was holding. And probably more disappointed in the turnover. They didn't get to the play. The play was to go through Bairstow. He was pressured a little bit, but they went away from him too early. Stick to the action. You had a timeout. Get through to the action. You've still got time if nothing's on to get into just a simple post-up. But when you've got a called play, it wasn't overplayed that much where Bairstow couldn't have one more step out. He could have caught it on that elbow.
Explaining myself right now. Yeah. Ben!
Not the first time either in these last couple of minutes, Drew. They called the play before wide cross, but Daniel Johnson posted up. They had him, they missed him. It resulted in a contested fadeaway from Mitch McCarron. So just lacking a little execution here in big moments as they try to hold on to this lead.
Dellavedova misses the first.
Been very good. 86% free throw shooter. Still no burgers.
Why don't you get him some burgers, Gazy? Those poor kids in the front row. Shout them. Dive into that extensive wallet of yours and help them out.
You got the golf cart?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. Had that privilege taken away. Single figures in the shot clock. Have to be Dufelmeyer from the top of the key. Not that far away. McCarron fouls Illy.
So Dusty Hanners hasn't had a great game. Only the 13 points, 2 of 7. But right now, I think they could use him on the floor. He can create off the bounce, get to the rim, shoot some, get to the free throw line, and decided they're not going with him. And I reckon that's primarily because it's about stops. A low-scoring game. Not thinking you're going to outshoot your opponents. They've gone in a different direction. And Dufelmeyer, big moments in a big game.
Nearly an 84% free throw shooter this season. Goes 1 of 2. Adelaide by 1. Inside 2 minutes remaining. The 36ers down the stretch came up short on Friday. They can't finish that time, and a foul over the back is going to send Melbourne to the other end of the floor to shoot free throws.
The third consecutive. Melbourne have walked their way to the free throw line. Now they've let them off the hook a little bit the last couple of times, but you don't need a foul. None of those 3 fouls were necessary in any way, shape or form, and Melbourne, they're not having to do anything special here to get opportunities to score.
Yeah, you love the intent and the effort to Dufelmeyer, but he was never going to get there. The ball had been secured, and in that effort to get that second shot, just overcommitted on that rebounding contest.
Lila Tool ties it up at 70.
Fight.
Not that Adelaide needed to score. They've only had 11 points in this fourth period. Very hard to win with those types of scoring quarters.
Gut check time for the Adelaide 36ers with Melbourne in front. Dellavedova all over Duffelmeyer.
Force contact with your left leg.
Worth it because they're not in. This is just elite on-ball defending. Keeps his hands out. I'm not sure where there was a foul. That's just unbelievable determination by Matthew Dellavedova.
McCarron fires away. That doesn't go. Bairstow and Luala-Chul wrestle for it. Melbourne come up with the ball. As we tick down to a minute remaining. United looking to make it 9 wins in a row. Have been behind for most of the game. Illy for 3. Massive hit.
Only their third three-point field goal made for the game. 3 of 23, and when they needed it most, they come up with it.
Johnson underneath. Had position. Misses.
Oh, my.
They are watching this game slip through their fingers.
Good effort there. Good job, Adelaide, not putting your hands in it.
It's gone to the middle.
Right
It's
there.
marginal. The contact. Hey, the contact marginal? Yeah, nice. If this is down the middle. Hey.
Had Dellavedova in the trap. He feels like he got hacked and whacked. Adelaide get it back. And, geez, that was a good shot they got last possession. Could have been a whistle for Daniel Johnson. It didn't come, but he caught it right at home base in front of the rim. Better than the previous possession where McCarron hoisted it and they needed something better.
They go to Dusty Hannahs in search of a 3-ball. Adelaide have scored Melbourne, I should say, have scored the last 10 points in the game. The results seem all but taken care of with a few minutes to go. You can never count this Melbourne team out.
Guys, can we jump down? All right,
Now, once again, turned it up defensively in this fourth quarter to wrestle control. If you're Adelaide here, no need to force something up from long range.
No.
Plenty of time. I think you get something good to the rim, go ahead and take it.
Absolutely. He gets back to Jack's question, which he raised earlier. Who is your offensive closer here? Who are you going to? It's usually being DJ.
They go to Bairstow. He draws contact.
Yeah, where was it?
Bairstow, 75% shooter this season from the free throw line.
Not a lot in that. Luala-Chul felt like he got it pretty clean. Got to clean up top. They called the body foul underneath. Big free throws for Bairstow.
They'll be extending the defense, trying to get a turnover in the backcourt. If not, they're going to have to play the foul game in the half court with only 23 seconds remaining.
This is history repeating, Liam, from Friday night. Let's see if they learn from the mistakes. Misses the second. Tip-in doesn't go either. It's knocked out of bounds. The call is last touched by Melbourne.
They'll send it for review. Last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. Officials, doesn't need to be a challenge.
The ball on the floor is blue ball.
They called it off Melbourne United. Sunday did. Great effort. Kept the ball alive.
We had blue ball.
They didn't quite secure it, but they got his hands in.
Well, they're hoping that he's hit it, and then we've just seen him try to lunge at it, the offense that is, and it's come off Melbourne United. That's what Adelaide 36ers and are hoping for, and what the official
It's all good.
saw.
We'll tell you when we're starting. Yeah. No, I got nothing. I said I'll tell them when we're starting. Yeah.
And this one here, the Adelaide should be huddling up, assuming they're going to get it, figure out what they're going to do. Can't tell It's hard to tell from that angle. Here it is there. Well, from that angle, it's like Tench just hit it out. Which is a good sign if you're a 36ers fan, because we are over our lives on this.
We're over Sunday.
We've got it completely wrong. Now, the only thing is there anything in that particular angle where it's conclusive? Oh, did it come off Jack White? Left finger. Left finger, the little deflection. Left deflection.
Yeah,
the left
wait for broadcast.
finger of Jack White.
I'm on now.
And it's the left finger.
Adelaide get the ball back, 3 points down.
Inconclusive vision, as we thought, is the official determination.
Again, Adelaide, time to work with here. Don't have to force it up from long range. You can get some good close.
Who should it be?
Take it. I'd go to DJ.
Down 3. Jets drives. Lawala sends him out of there.
Outstanding rim protection from JLA. We spoke about how many shots he's been blocking this season.
You got the three.
Second in the league behind Joe Chi.
Guys, no foul.
Huge block in a huge moment.
15.3 seconds left. Adelaide in from the baseline. Hannah's got it away and scores. What a moment for Dusty Hannah's. We're tied at 74.
Huge by Dusty Hannahs. Shows the self-belief in this man. Hasn't had a good one. He was 2 of 7 before that. And there's a
That play fake doesn't happen. I can't hear it.
timeout, I believe, so Melbourne United will advance the ball.
High drama at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre.
Huge play by Dusty Hannahs. Well executed as well. Fading away in the corner. Knocks it down. And this is a guy that hasn't really done too much. Here he is coming off that. Matthew Dellavedova does a great job trying to fight over. Not much more Matthew Dellavedova could do. And that's just an outstanding shot.
Melbourne are upset with Dellavedova getting knocked to the floor after the fact. I don't think DJ did much wrong. When you called for it, Drewy, you called for Dusty Hannahs to come back into the game in these crucial situations. CJ, great decision. That
like
man out there.
Looks like a genius now.
Doesn't he what?
But I thought, you know, those last few minutes, you're looking for someone, and although he hadn't had a great game, that's the sort of capabilities that he does have. And they couldn't score. They haven't been able to score. That was only 14 points now for the 15 now for the quarter.
Now it's Melbourne's turn, Liam. Who do they go to? Chris Golding is 0 from 17.
Well, Joe Lualachul is way more efficient.
0 of 17. We've got to clarify that.
From his
last time he's made a basket.
Gotcha. 0 for 10 tonight. But I would be going to Joe Lualachul. You don't need something from the perimeter right now. Melbourne, Adelaide over the foul limit as well. He's got 20 points. He's the game-leading scorer. They've had a tough time handling him, and you've got time to find him in a good position.
Looking for 9 in a row. Melbourne advance the ball and need a score to take the lead back. Dellavedova, head down to the basket, can't bank it home. Johnson's got time, they need to get it away. 74 apiece. In 33 meetings, Melbourne and Adelaide have never been to overtime. We need an extra 5 minutes to sort it out.
Well, based on the way this game's going, Melbourne United would welcome this because they certainly put themselves in the winning position, but across the entire game, they looked like they were not going to get over the line. In the last quarter, Adelaide gets nervous, few foul problems, can't score, and momentum going the way of Melbourne United. And they would be grateful to be in this position, albeit that if it not for a Dusty Hannahs heroics, they're probably in the locker rooms.
Might have started thinking they had it there for a moment. Melbourne United up 4 with not a lot to play. Besto free throw. Got to credit Sunday Detch for that effort on the offensive boards to keep that play alive. And then Dusty Hannes comes up big. What a game we have watched this afternoon. 8 straight wins for Melbourne, going for 9 in a row, and not many gave Adelaide a chance of hanging in this one. But they have played it tough from go to woe.
And it hasn't been all that aesthetically pleasing from the field. You're talking about the Adelaide 36ers shooting it at 34%, and Melbourne United at 36%. Melbourne United 3 of 23 from the three-point line, and Adelaide 36 is not a whole lot better at 6 of 23. But that hasn't detracted from the game. The intensity, what we're seeing on the defensive end, the way in which they're getting after each other on the defense, it's made for a fun game.
We had 3 overtime games in the first 15 minutes of the Hungry Jacks NBL, the first 15 games, I should say, in the Hungry Jacks NBL. We haven't had an overtime game in the last 31. So we take a look at a couple of Adelaide greats in the stands this afternoon, Drewy.
Scott Ninnis.
Paul Rees. Yes, 2 stars. Scott Ninnis, former coach of the Adelaide 36ers as well, still currently doing some work for them. Big Reese.
Talk about a man that can shine glass, Paul Rees.
He was not blessed with great athleticism, but gee, was he the ultimate role player in that type of Warwick Giddy style where he knew what he could do, and playing along Phil Smythe with the people that he had around him, and the way in which that they were able to get the best out of him. Let's not forget his time with the Giants as well. Big Reese, of course.
Final MVP.
There you go. Played for the Australian team in a World Championship too. Big Reese.
We begin the 4th overtime game of the season. How's that for a start for Melbourne?
Well, that's the man to be on to. Spoke about it at the end of regulation. That's easy offense for Melbourne United. Delhi put it right on the spot.
Hannes, the hero for Adelaide late in the game. Starting out there in this overtime period.
That's a bit of a mess.
McCarron late in the clock for Besto. Did well to catch and shoot. It didn't finish.
We didn't need to. He could have just come down with that and laid it up, and just got a little nervous with it. And the perceived pressure by Luala Chul brought him undone.
Sydney coming up next against the Perth Wildcats. Needless to say, that's going to be a much later start due to the overtime period here at the Entertainment Centre. Delhi for 3. No good, that'll be a jump ball.
How does he go behind him and then still get the ball when the guy's in front?
CJ Bruton not too pleased. Possession arrow is Adelaide's way.
Much better by Daniel Johnson. That possession, sitting down, staying in front of Jack White, taking that away.
3 straight losses for the Adelaide 36ers. Friday night hurt them. That helps them. Dusty Hannes.
And that's the sort of thing where when their defense is so extended and they're putting so much pressure, a guy like Dusty who's crafty can get by his defender. It's not always going to be a lot of help.
13 points in the game. Golding. Still yet to make a field goal. That hasn't changed. White has been massive on the glass today. Couldn't score that time. McCarron into the corner. Detch corner pocket 3.
Big hit. Sunday Detch, the boys in the corner there. The shot fake. Really did a good job to contest. After losing his position, Detch good enough to knock it in.
Adelaide back in front. Luala Chul misses.
Both these teams, you can tell that fatigue really kicking in.
Karen combines with Besto. Trying to bank it home. Johnson, offensive rebound. Points are going to count.
This is the poise you're talking about with Sunday Ditch. He sees the defense running at Shea Hill and he comes back and does as much as he possibly can to contest that shot. Good recovery, and Sunday Ditch knocking it down. Great composure. Only 2 of 11. And that adds further to that shot. Not chock full of confidence on those numbers, but still able to knock it down.
Delhi from the top of the key.
And there's the example of what you were asking me before. They stick with the scout. They go underneath on Delhi. And, yeah, he's made some, but throws up an air ball at a big moment.
Adelaide get it back and lead by 4.
It was only a 2 for Ditch.
Hannah's.
Huge.
It doesn't have to be your day, but it can be your moment. Dusty Hannah's owning the back end of this game.
Spot on. Dusty Hannah's has spent a lot of this game on the bench. He's only played 17 minutes, but highly effective when it's mattered most. 17 points, 5 of 10 from the field. And another big, big clutch moment right there. Coming off, fighting over the top, not a lot of help. Delhi with the hands down. That's where you got to come and swipe from behind and try and just get in the vision of a shooter when you're trailing like that. And just really good stuff by Hannah's.
Let's take a look at Joe Luala-Chul's afternoon. The conversation is a live one for who's the best big man in the Hungry Jacks NBL right now. He's had another big day at the office.
It's been a really fun battle. Joe Luala-Chul on Cam Bairstow, 2 of the informed bigs in the league. Bairstow's got 16 and 12 in his own right. But Joe Luala-Chul has just gone about getting things done around the rim. 22 points, 12 rebounds, a couple of block shots. We saw this when he got out in the passing lane, got above the rim. And some huge defensive plays along the way, but he is just providing an outstanding target close to the bucket. Look at the SodaStream shot chart. 9 of 12 from the field. Great shots right around the no charge zone. Got to keep finding the big fella if you're Melbourne United.
2 minutes remaining in overtime. Illy. Well shot on that 3. And that's off the foot of Jack White. Adelaide have scored the last 8 points.
3 of 26 from the 3-point line.
Hannah's guarded by Dellavedova. Gets past him. Floater from the elbow.
He's saying, hey, play me, coach. Big minutes, big results, Dusty.
Rebound Soto. Now Melbourne have got a problem. Loose ball, Dellavedova scraps after it. Wins it back for Melbourne. Luala-Chul into Soto, who's called for a block.
Loose turnover there. McCarron just keeping the door ajar for Melbourne United. Up 8, minute and a half, chance to close that thing with a score down the other end, but they cough it up.
Dean Vickerman, 17 wins and 4 losses in his time against Adelaide. Staring down the barrel of loss number 5.
We got it, bonus.
And the 8-game winning streak in serious jeopardy right now.
It's been huge by the Adelaide 36ers in this overtime period. And by Adelaide 36ers, a lot of that is Dusty Hannah's. They're going to review this.
That's correct. Oh, white ball, sorry. It's white ball.
Todd Withers is fouled out for Adelaide. Caleb Mercado
Thank you.
out for Melbourne.
Red.
Cam Bairstow playing with 4 fouls.
Red.
Dellavedova. This is where experience comes to the fore in situations like this.
Just got to go through the review. Soto. There. Oh, was it whose leg? Is it Soto's leg? It's come off the leg. Is that Illy's leg? Hard to tell from that angle.
I'm not sure I'd be asking us today.
Not sure there's enough evidence. Is there enough evidence to overrule? Looked like Illy's foot didn't have land.
The original call was a Melbourne ball.
Illy's, maybe his finger as well.
Thank you.
So Melbourne get it. And look, we've seen some bad misses from long range in these last minute or so from Melbourne United. Got to continue to play. Oh my God, I was going to say through JLA, and Shea Illy just knocks one down. My goodness, 4-point game.
A hush goes over the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. The result isn't in the book yet. As they settle in and use their full 24 seconds available, Adelaide. Nervous hush. Hannah surveys the floor, gets it back. He's been the man to go to late in the game, and that hasn't changed.
Not an easy one either. Into the paint, little floater by Dusty Hannahs. He's showing the full repertoire.
Golding for three. Foul. News left for Adelaide, so 3 free throws coming for Chris Golding.
We need to change the rules, get an extra review in OT. Someone can throw up.
How clutch has that man been? Wow. The triple at the end of regulation and coming up big in OT time and again.
That's one for Golding.
Two.
Who still has not made a field goal in this game. 0 from 12. John Lawala-Chul, by the way, equal career high today of 23 points. 12 rebounds, 2 blocks. Golding takes care of all 3. It's back to 4. 51 seconds remaining. Extended defense from Melbourne. Adelaide beat the press.
Maybe we can use most of the clock up here. Want this shot in the last 4 seconds, 6 seconds.
Soto left open. Massive from Kai Soto. Fans on their feet. They can sense that victory's close. Detch all up and in on Golding. He doesn't make it. Johnson fouled. 17 seconds left. It's a 5-point lead with free throws to come.
Oh, this is sensational stuff for Adelaide. And those passionate 36ers fans in that building and watching on from home. Dusty Hannahs, as we mentioned, has been massive in overtime and ascended into the extra period. And then Kai Soto, the teenager, doesn't hesitate, grabs his moment, extends the margin to 5.
Oh, apologies, they had a foul to give Melbourne. Golding. Now they can wind the time down. They need to get it beyond halfway, and they do. Soto winds it down. It's the upset of the season. Adelaide coming off 3 straight losses, including going down late to Tasmania on Friday. Melbourne had won 8 in a row. Adelaide killed the streak.
Well, crazy scenes at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. That man, Dusty Hannahs, Footlocker player of the game. Geez, he wasn't having a terrific night. Spent a lot of time on the pine. And then CJ Bruton turned to him late in regulation and he came up huge. Others had bigger box score numbers. Cam Bairstow, huge double-double. Todd Withers, 17 was terrific, but Dusty Hannah's in crunch time. 36ers get the win.
We're back to wrap it up after this.